Bon appétit.
Hey everyone, I'm John from Let's Talk, and today we're going to be talking about the season finale of Atlanta and the entire third season of Atlanta as a whole. But before we get started, if you're not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on. So, the third season of Atlanta just wrapped up with its season finale titled Terrace. This episode was directed by Donald Glover and premiered on May 19th, 2022. So I think this episode finally answers a lot of questions that I have been asking. What's Van been up to this entire season? Because we only got a little bit of her in the first episode and then some brief appearances throughout the rest of the show for this season, and it's 10 episode arc, and a lot of people, including myself, were asking, where has Van been? What was her storyline? And I think we finally wrapped it up, and I think we wrapped it up in a very good way. Donald Glover has directed 2 episodes this season. One was a complete miss for me, and another one was pretty good, I think, and this one was another good episode directed by him. This is actually one of the better episodes. I would say it's in the top tier of the episodes of this season. This season's kind of been very hit or miss. For me, I think I've been higher on it than a lot of people. I've heard a lot of complaints about this season being a mixed bag to pretty negative, actually. And I think a couple episodes didn't hit the mark, but then a couple really did. And this is another one where it really hit the mark, and I think it finally answers a lot of the questions as far as what Van has been doing. Now, I can see some complaints being that this is a complete Van episode. We're following her around, her friend Candace, and Candace's 2 friends are following her around through France. So now we know what Van's been doing. She's been playing a French woman. She's been trying to, I guess, change her life. She's trying to live somebody else's life. She is lost. That's the best way to describe it. I actually very much related to her and understanding, like, you're trying to find your place in the world and you're just not happy and you don't know where you're going and if you've made the right decisions thus far. And for her, she just felt like, I guess it's kind of like a quarter life, maybe even third life crisis where she has to travel to France and just try and find herself. Maybe some people can look at this as a mental breakdown. I didn't look at her, what she was doing as a mental breakdown. I thought of it like she's just trying to find herself. She was lost, and that happens to people. I personally can tell you I've honestly been there, where you just don't know what you're doing, and like if you're doing the right thing, if you're making all the right decisions. Now, I'm not a mother like her character is, so that just adds another wrinkle onto it, because you are responsible for another human being, and she also has a slight responsibility to earn who, even though they're not married or anything, that is the father of her child. So it does make a lot of sense. I could just relate to her completely, and I understand completely what she's going for. But this was not a fully emotional episode either. This actually had some of the biggest laugh-out-loud moments of the entire season. Actually, this had 2 of the biggest laugh-out-loud moments of the entire season, both portrayed by Alexander Skarsgård, of all people, which I did not see coming. I just watched this guy in The Northman a few weeks ago, and you're going to tell me this is the same guy who's just out here having the time of his life, just getting some laugh-out-loud moments from me, just in my own living room by myself. I just couldn't stop cracking up at this guy coming in a little bit towards the end of the episode when he's like rubbing his hands. Oh man, I'm starving. Give me one of those little hands. It was just amazing. I really can't believe they nailed him down for this and that he was just down to do whatever they wanted. It was perfect. I really just loved that he was in this episode. I liked his cameo way more than I liked Liam Neeson's. Liam Neeson's was more of a more heavy kind of cameo, where this was just a very lighthearted, funny cameo, because this is probably the funniest episode of the entire season, in my opinion, and there were some funny moments this season, so this one definitely had that I really did love. And I also did love that the way they were talking about the elites or the rich people of this world, that we just don't know what they're doing, and the fact that Van has been running away this entire episode. She's been trying to get a package. We assume it's drugs, but it turns out it's just to get human hands, because that's what these people want, and it's unbelievable that that's what it was building up to, and I totally didn't see that coming. And the fact that the way this episode was shot, they really showed the hands being prepped like they were prepping a regular high-class meal. And this is, I guess, a high-class meal for these people. Like, they put the drapes over their head to really show you that when you're eating this, it's an experience. I'm sure it is. It's an experience I have no desire to ever be a part of, but for these people, very enjoyable. I don't know why, but very enjoyable. And I love that the 2 girls, once they realize what they're doing, they get out of there, but no one else gets up. Just, that was so funny. I love that was planted in this episode. Now, I could see complaints being directed towards this episode because we did not get any appearances from our other 3 main leads, Brian Tyree Henry, Lakeith Stanfield, and Donald Glover, until a post-credit scene, which Donald Glover does pop up in. So I can understand why some people might be disappointed in that, but we've had a few episodes with them, and we had the few dream episodes, which we actually, in the post-credit scenes, kind of answers a little bit more questions on that, or actually maybe opens up more, depending on how you look at it. I really did think that overall this was a very good episode, and very good conclusion to what I thought was probably not the greatest season of Atlanta. Definitely think season 1 is still the best. You know, I still definitely did enjoy this season of Atlanta overall. I do think the best episode was 3 Slaps, which was the first episode of the season, and then a few episodes after that, The Great Payback. That was another awesome episode. So those were 2 episodes that didn't feature the main cast either, and I thought those were the 2 best episodes of the season. So that's actually really should tell you what this show does, because they don't follow the basic outline of what other shows do. They have no problem taking out main stars and replacing them with people who we haven't even gotten to know at all. And that's just because of what Atlanta does. Atlanta has that Twilight Zone, Twin Peaks kind of feel where you don't really know for sure what's going on. They don't even answer all the questions for you. You are left as the viewer to answer those questions yourself. It's a very ambiguous show. And I actually do love that. There is nothing more that I love. There is nothing that I love to do more than to try and figure out what the show or movie is trying to tell me. It leaves it open to interpretation to me and what the show itself means to me. Now, I could be 100% wrong and miss the boat completely. I like to think I'm smarter than that, but you never know. And this show does that so well. I still am so excited for the show. Every time an episode comes up, I can't wait to throw it on my screen to watch it and then to jump in front of the camera and review it for you guys, because I just want to talk Atlanta. I love Atlanta, and I think the post-credit scene is letting us know we're definitely going to get a season 4. I hope we don't have to wait 3 years like we had to wait for this. But, you know, you never know. But as long as we're going to get more of this, these are all big stars. All 4 of our main leads are huge stars. I don't know how hard it is to lock down their schedules to get them into the show. It's really amazing to me that this has gone 3 seasons when you got actors like Zazie Beetz, Donald Glover, Brian Tyree Henry, and Lakeith Stanfield, an Academy Award nominated actor, to get onto your show. I don't know what that takes. I do not want to know. I'm sure it's a logistical nightmare, so forget it on that end. But overall, great season, great episode. Let's talk about that post-credit scenes, though, shall we? So in the post-credit scene, we see Donald Glover's Earn get a package. Well, he's getting his luggage back, well, turns out it's not his luggage. He said he got all his bags, so they drop off a bag for Earn, and he goes upstairs, opens it up, sees some pills in the bag, a t-shirt that he likes, he takes it, throws it over his shoulder, and then we pan across and we can see a picture sitting there, and we notice that it's the one guy from the first episode. He's, I think, in the background in 3 Slaps, but then later in The Great Payback, he's the guy in the bar, which I said, and I still stand by, that was my favorite scene of this whole season, is when they're talking back and forth in the one guy who was the lead in that episode and this guy, when they were talking at the bar about everything, and then he walks outside and blows his brains out and falls in the pool. That I thought was one of the best scenes of the whole season. And we see that this guy, who we believed was in a dream sequence for Earn, this was him imagining this person. That's why he was in both episodes. So now we know, is he real or is Earn himself in a dream? That's really hard to tell and really leaves it open to the viewer's interpretation. And I don't think we're going to get answers on that anytime soon. If we get answers at all, it might just be open to your interpretation. Has Earn been dreaming this entire season? Because there are a lot of unbelievable elements that happen to all the characters, not just Zazie Beetz, who is playing a French woman in this, and even beats the shit out of a man with a baguette, which, I mean, they really made a comment about when a baguette gets stale. I like bread when it gets stale. Anyway, that's on me. But as we continue on, what is the show this season trying to tell us? That was a very intentional scene to put in there to let us gloss over that person. Are we going to ever see him again? I really have no idea. I don't know if that question's going to get answered, but it really does put a bow on what this season was. It could have just been a standalone season where we really don't even address all the events that happened in this season. If you look at it, look how much more famous Paperboy is now than he was in Season 1 and Season 2. You know, there are pieces and crumbs there that laid out for you that make it seem like maybe this season wasn't supposed to be taken literally, and maybe it was supposed to be taken figuratively, and maybe most of it, if not all of it, takes place in Donald Glover's head. It's very possible. We don't know for sure. but that would definitely explain a lot. I like to think it wasn't, because I really do actually like how they wrapped up Van's arc, and I do like seeing a person find themselves in a show. I thought that was beautifully done, so I don't want them to go that route, but it's not up to me. I'm just along for the journey. I don't have a bad thing to say about this season overall. I think this is still another solid Atlanta season, and I'm hoping that we get a lot more Atlanta going forward, because I do think it is one of the best shows on TV today. I can't say too many bad things about it. I really do hope that FX and Hulu pick this back up and give it a season 4, because it's well deserved. We do not get shows written, executed like this at all, shot beautifully, where each episode just feels so special, especially for a show running at this time. This is not like the HBO shows. This has that it is filmed with that same high quality of those shows, but it doesn't get the promotion that it deserves. Like, this doesn't really even get a 1%, I believe, on the Nielsen ratings, which is crazy for a show that is so well made with such care. I just really wish that more people could find Atlanta, because I really do think that they'll enjoy it. Yes, you have to open your mind to it. It is not fed to you. You don't need to know everything that's going on, and I know for the mainstream viewer that's a little tough. You have to actually use your mind the whole time and be paying attention scene to scene, or it's not going to make sense. And it's not supposed to. Not everything, even as you watch it. I have to watch this show twice before I even come on and do this review to make sure that I have everything in line that I'm trying to understand. And that's just for me personally. I have no way of knowing how everybody else feels about it, so I do, but that's something that I personally love. I don't expect everybody to love that, but I really do think that, hopefully as a viewing audience, we can all learn to love something like that, because it's something special, I believe. And I believe that Donald Glover, the creator of this show, and his brother have really nailed down something special, and I hope we get many more seasons going forward, because right now we only have 31 episodes of this amazing show. I say bravo to FX and Hulu and Donald Glover and everybody on the show this year. I thought you did a fantastic job. I'm looking forward to season 4. If you guys haven't seen season 3 and you're just coming on here now to get a spoiler kind of review of it, I appreciate that too. But guys, even though it's the end of our Atlanta journey, there's plenty more on this channel. I do 4K Blu-ray reviews, I do plenty of movie reviews, Matt does video game reviews, so please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And guys, if you have any more shows you want me to dive into that you want to see some reviews on episode to episode, I'm always in. I'm game. Just give me some, drop some in the comment section below, and I'll dive right into it. So make sure you tell your friends about Let's Talk, and I'll be seeing you around.